Well, it was supposed to be the wedding of their dreams, but just days after her Prince Charming proposed, she got the horrible news that she had a deadly cancer.
Tonight, we take you inside the story of the unexpected cancer wedding. Dan Rascon joins us now live. Sounds like the news came at just the worst possible time, Dan.
Yeah, Mark and Shauna, of course, it's never a good time to hear you have a deadly form of cancer, but for Brooke, it came when she thought her Cinderella story was just beginning. Instead, she found herself in deep pain and heartache, but fortunately, as we see here, she picked the right guy to help her get through all this. Brooke and Rob
the flowers were so pretty at the
have
wedding.
quite the love story
You look very handsome.
to tell.
News to me.
But this isn't just some fairy tale you might expect.
That's where we got engaged.
Yes, they got
Had to
engaged
take
on the
pictures
perfect
later.
day, Valentine's Day of last year.
I dropped to the knee and gave her a ring.
Yes, it was a romantic night.
It was the happiest I've ever been.
And yes, Brooke had plenty to blog about.
I am so excited to be his wife.
But just a few days later,
I then began to weep.
it all came crashing down
I was like, this is not fair.
when Brooke suddenly found out she had breast cancer.
February 18th. How could I tell my fiance of 3 days that I had cancer? Not now. Like anytime but now, you know? I don't want it to be now. I want to I want to plan my wedding. I want to have the wedding of my dreams, you know? I finally found my Prince Charming.
And this was no slow-growing cancer.
I had a grade 3 tumor, which is the fastest growing tumor you can have. I was just really shocked, and then I started to cry, and I thought, he's not going to want to marry me. There's no way he's going to want to marry me.
She then called Rob, thinking she would call the wedding off.
I just said, we don't have to do this. I can do everything by myself, and I can call you in a year, and then we can figure it out and go from there.
But Rob
I could tell that she was sad. It
wasn't about to lose the love of his life.
was a little bit shocking to me, but I wanted to be, you know, supportive to her and make sure she knew that I still loved her.
He just was so calm, and he just said, whatever you want to do, I still want to marry you. My thoughts haven't changed. I've committed to this.
Brooke and Rob wanted to marry in June, but that couldn't happen because Brooke had to have surgery and undergo chemo.
Babe, do you want to kiss it goodbye?
So on March 10th, Brooke had a double
kiss it
mastectomy.
Picking up breast cancer early is key for survival.
Dr. Mark Jensen of Central Utah Clinic in American Fork was Brooke's surgeon. He says she's very lucky to find the lump when she
A
did.
good lesson is if you find a lump, the quicker you get in and get it diagnosed, the better your survival will be.
On April 18th, Brooke married her Prince Charming.
I felt really great for my wedding. I prayed and prayed that I would feel good, and I felt awesome.
The two then went on a honeymoon, and just 4 days after returning, Brooke started her first of 6 rounds of chemotherapy.
But on Tuesday night, I started to get sick, really sick. It came on so fast. I was throwing up uncontrollably.
The chemo brought Brooke to her deathbed.
I prayed hard and cried, but this is one of my weakest moments. I kept on thinking, can't this just end? Mwah. Have a good day.
But through all the pain and heartache, something happened to Brooke and Rob.
So it's changed your relationship.
Oh yeah.
They actually grew closer together.
Good, babe. I loved him so much, of course, when we got engaged, but watching him through this has just made me love him so much more.
Ultimately, I knew that, you know, after this was over, we'd still have a long time to live together.
Yeah, they have plenty of life to live together there. Brooke continues to go to the hospital for checkups about once every 3 weeks. That will continue through April. But for now, she's considered cancer-free, and she's grateful. And of course, she ended up getting that lump checked out, even though at the time, she thought it was nothing. If you have an Inside the Story you want to pitch, send me an email at KUTV.com. Click on Features and Inside the Story. Mark and Sean?
So regular checkups obviously helps.
It really,
and,
I mean, she was very young. She didn't think anything of it. And
right.
look what
Can
happened.
I tell you how much I hate cancer?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my friends, my mother, there's so much.
We all
in my-
seem to know somebody.
We
that-
do.
yeah.
We all do. And
But
hopefully
she beat it, and that's the good news.
She beat it,
Yeah.
and thanks to good people like the Huntsman Cancer Institute and all the great doctors and all the hospitals we have here in Salt Lake, we do a pretty good job with it.